This is a CBC podcast.
Hello, I'm Wei Chan, host of Ontario Morning. Welcome to the podcast for Tuesday, September 9th, 2014. Hosting foreign exchange student Stephanie Morton joined us from Huntsville. Fresh faces have entered classrooms with the arrival of the new school year. Some of those faces belong to international students. Next month, 56 Japanese students will arrive in Bracebridge for a week-long exchange program. While here, the teens will attend Bracebridge and Muskoka Secondary School and stay with local families from Bracebridge and Huntsville. My next guest is the coordinator for the program. Her family has also hosted several foreign students since last summer. Stephanie Morton joins me now to talk about what it's like to have a temporary new family member from a different culture. Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
What made you decide to become a host family for some of these foreign students?
Well, my family and I, we moved to the Huntsville area about 6 years ago, and I have 3 daughters. 2 of them were in high school at the time, and some of their first friends were actually international students. There was a Korean student and a Spanish student, and I came to understand that they were in these homestay programs, and it sort of tweaked my interest. And then eventually my 2 older daughters left for university, and I still had my younger daughter at home, and I thought, perfect opportunity to give this a try and see what it's like.
And you did it, and your first foreign student that you hosted was from Japan. What was that experience like? What was the most memorable for you?
Oh, it was so much fun when they arrived because it was a group of students. It wasn't an academic student staying longer, so it was a short-term sort of stay. And the group arrived, and we were there with all of the other host families, and we were holding up signs, so, welcome to Canada, and our students were kind of looking for us, and we were looking for her, and it was such an amazing time. We were all so excited. We just started out trying to, show her around our beautiful area. And it was a lot of fun.
Were there any sort of language or cultural mishaps, differences?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the language barrier at first could be a little bit of an issue, just sort of understanding emotions, understanding how everyone is feeling, that sort of thing. But it's amazing how quickly you can overcome that. We were all trying our best, and they often come with their little translators and such. But there's a lot that you can do with pantomime when you have to. And we found that these students come here quite prepared. They've been studying English. So their understanding of the spoken English and their written English can be a little bit stronger than their actual spoken English.
Now, what about your knowledge of Japanese?
Well, my Japanese is much worse than their English. I don't have a lot of knowledge of the Japanese language, that's for sure. But I know that my family and I have become a lot more interested in Japanese culture just through this experience. And, just sitting at the dinner table, we can ask a lot of questions and find out a lot about Japanese culture.
Were you able to gauge what the experience was like for her staying with you?
Well, yes. That particular student was here for about 2 weeks. And, when she left, there were just so many tears and hugs. It was, we all had such an amazing time. And still, I on Mother's Day, I hear from her. I get little messages, Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Oh.
It's just so wonderful. I can't begin to tell you how enriching it's been for our lives.
Isn't that lovely? Yeah. Oh, I was thinking, though, that, even without the language or cultural barrier, sometimes, there can be conflicts just within a household. How did everything work out?
Very well, actually. Very well. Surprisingly. Sometimes I think we as adults can be a lot more nervous than the kids are, actually. Our own children and the students coming, they're young and they're quite adaptable.
Did you feel the urge, though, to mother her in a way?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Because it's very hard to express exactly how you're feeling. So we tend to, want to make sure, are you happy? Are you okay? Do you have everything you need? And we all can be very nurturing that way. But we did have an experience. We were around a campfire, and, we had a bit of a sing-song with some guitars, and we were all singing along, and then she asked if she could sing a song for us. Mm-hmm. And so she sang a little song, and then afterwards she was sitting, and there were tears rolling down her cheeks, and I was asking her, are you okay? Is everything okay? And she said, no, I'm happy. I don't want to leave. So
that's a nice sentiment, isn't it? Now, okay, I know you're looking for other host families as well. So what would be your advice for someone who's considering this? I mean, who would be the right person to do this?
Well, the families that host are very diverse. We have families with children, we have single moms, we have retired couples. So there's quite a diversity. And we look for families who are enthusiastic, who are willing to open their homes, because these kids, they're not just, staying, at a hotel. They're here to become a part of our families. So, a family who's enthusiastic and really wants to get to know another culture.
Yeah, you're like an ambassador. Well, Stephanie, thank you very much for sharing your story with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stephanie Morton is a Huntsville resident. She has hosted several foreign exchange students over the past year. She's also the coordinator for Muskoka Language International. Next month, the organization is bringing 56 students to the area for a week-long program at local high schools.